moments. Now we move on to the next group. Group 7, their topic is Weekly Road Report.
Good evening. Welcome to Weekly Road Reports. I'm Jennifer Lin. Two powerful explosions in Boston on Monday, near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. 3 people are dead and 144 injured, at least 17 of them critically. Here's a report from our correspondent Fanny Lin in Boston.
2 bombs struck near the finish line of the Boston Marathon on Monday, turning a celebration into destruction. It was Patriots Day, a civic holiday in Massachusetts. 2 explosions happened at about 2:50 p.m. The first bomb blasted on the north side of Boston Street, just before the finish line, and some people initially thought it was a celebratory cannon blast. When the second bomb went off, spectators' cheers turned to screams. The bombings occurred about 4 hours into the race and 2 hours after the men's winner crossed the finish line. By that point, more than 70,000 of the athletes have finished the marathon, but thousands more are still running. Natalie Delson was waiting for her boyfriend, who was running a marathon. She told us what she saw.
I was expecting my boyfriend any minute. I don't know what that was, it's just blue. Just a big bomb, a loud boom, and then glass everywhere. Something hit my head. And I don't know what it was, I just stopped. Then I saw 6 to 8 people bleeding, including one man who was kneeling dead with blood trickling down his hand. Another person was on the ground covered in blood and not moving. This is what I expect from war.
A block away from the Boston Marathon finish line, 2 students studying at Boston University from Taiwan were at Dennis restaurant with their friends when they heard a huge crash.
It was like a very loud noise. A display of furniture crashed very loud to the floor. You could kind of feel a vibration. It was just a huge panic.
Yes, that's right.
Everyone was out of their seats, just running around and scrambling. A bunch of people scrambled toward the restroom. No one knew what was going on. And then, eventually, we all just rushed through the back door. Cheers are fine, you know. We are still in shock over the attacks.
Right. And when we came out of the restaurant, ambulances started coming by. About 10 to 12 ambulances coming by. The drivers didn't look happy at all. They looked very upset.
President Obama gave a late-night television address in which he offered sympathy for the victims of the explosions and pledged support to the authorities in Massachusetts. Earlier today, the president spoke in a briefing room. He vowed whoever did it will face justice. Penny Lin, Boston.
After the announcement on Margaret Thatcher's death, several street celebrations were recorded in the United Kingdom. Here's a report from our correspondent Amy Gao in Glasgow.
Hundreds of cheering people held parties to celebrate the death of Margaret Thatcher. The event, organized on Twitter and Facebook, was attended by more than 200 Scots angry at Thatcher's legacy. They assembled in Glasgow's George Square, where in 1989, protests to the introduction of the former Prime Minister's poll tax took place. Some wore party hats and launched streamers into the air when a bottle of champagne was opened with a toast to the death of Baroness Thatcher. Pubs were decorated with banners and the former miner gathered to hang a photo of Thatcher outside the Green Pub, with signs reading, "Thatcher, the milk snatcher." One protester is going to tell us why she celebrates Thatcher's death.
It's a moment to remember Thatcher's death. I think it's a celebration around the world and across the country. She did so much damage to this country. My father committed suicide when I was a child. He couldn't pay the mortgage when Thatcher closed the mines. She destroyed the miner's job. She was a hated woman in Scotland. I would rather that Thatcherism were dead because she is the mostly to blame for what is going on today. She is responsible, but not solely, for the massive gap between the rich and the poor.
In Brixton, holding notices saying, "Rejoice, Thatcher is dead." About 200 people gathered in the neighborhood and toasted her passing by drinking and dancing to hip-hop.
Everything Thatcher stood for, my husband and I are opposed to. Her hard line against miners, withdrawal of free milk for school children, and her actions in the Falklands War. We're proud to be with the people that come out here. We're celebrating, yeah. Her rule was the main reason for social unrest in the 1980s. We've been waiting 30 years for this. She completely destroyed our nation. She divided us. People keep saying how great she was, but she only really great for a limited few who had money.
On Amazon, Judy Garner's version of Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead, made the list of the 20th most downloaded songs after a Facebook group started lobbying for the song as a #1 hit. This has made people question whether it's appropriate to celebrate the death of the statement. Many agree it has gone too far. The Wiz of Oz made the following comments on the website. "I understand that many people are hurt by her and her party's actions, but many people benefited too. But to act in a shameful way when she died is an embarrassment to our country." The Iron Lady was a divisive figure with the passionate supporters and critics. Thanks for joining with the World Reports and Jennifer Lee. You join us again same time next week. Till then, goodbye.
Thank you for your performance.